This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below. Hi guys, and welcome back to our Malifaux Masters Breakdown, where we showcase the factions and personalities vying for soul stones and dominance within the Broken City. Today's episode focuses on the dual faction Explorers and Ten Thunders Master Lucas McCabe and his Wastrel keyword. The Wastrel keyword likes to hunt for treasure in the wilderness of Malifaux, with their looted supplies ability meaning that they get to draw a card if they activate near a scrap or corpse marker. McCabe himself and his trusty hound Luna can also scour these markers for artifacts in the form of 3 different upgrades, which can then be passed around the crew in a number of ways to provide a myriad of benefits which you'll definitely be wanting to do often. The common upgrade ability is paid with trinkets, which gives a model fast when they activate if the upgrade was attached this turn. They also share the Take This quick action too, which lets them chuck it to a friend when they've finished using it. Out of these upgrades, the Phantasmal Mask leeches the life of nearby enemies while healing your own models, as well as having a quick action that pulses out shielded to nearby friends. The Faded Mirror lets you draw cards after cheating against an enemy, as long as you have a focus, and the quick action Equality of Fate provides more card draw if your opponent has more cards than you. Finally, the Time Worn Blade cuts through most opponents, letting you get around their defensive abilities with your melee action, while the quick action Blade Storm pulses out a jewel that does 2 damage to anyone that fails it. Lucas McCabe is the leader of the Wastrel gang and comes in 2 forms, the first being the Relic Hunter. This mounted master rides atop a mighty steed and ignores models and severe terrain when moving, thanks to Trample and Unimpeded. He has an amazing front of card ability called Adventure Awaits that reduces the target number of other friendly Wastrel's actions by 2. Additionally, his Demise ability means that if he's killed, he's just knocked off his horse and replaced with his second form, the Dismounted Hunter, next to the poor filly's corpse. Both mounted and unhorsed versions have the Scrounge for Relics ability, which lets McCabe remove a corpse or scrap marker to attach an upgrade, with a built-in trigger to immediately throw it to a model within 6 inches. The Relic Hunter comes with a Bullwhip attack and has a 2-inch melee range that deals 2, 3, 4 damage while pushing models around. His net gun has a 10-inch range with blasts on both moderate and severe damage tracks, and it gives slow and staggered to any models that it damages. His quick action is Ride With Me, which gives him some extra movement while he can also bring a friendly model along with him. After the horse has gone, Dismounted McCabe loses the Adventure Awaits ability, proving that the horse was the real master all along. Good one, Chris. Instead, he gains Swagger, which gives him a focus for moving and extended reach to stop charging models coming at him. It seems he left most of his weapons on the horse though, as his whip is replaced by a glowing saber which ignores practically every defensive ability, and his net gun is gone in favour of a Collier revolver, which has a better range and higher severe damage. Lastly, his quick action is now Chain Gang, which still gives a bit of movement to himself and another friendly model. Over to totems, and Luna is the best doggo in all of Malifaux, McCabe's ever faithful companion. The Carry the Goods ability extends the range of the Take This action on the artifact upgrades, meaning models can throw relics 12 inches to each other, teleporting Luna in the process. If we look at the back of her card, she has Frantic Digging, which lets her generate a scrap marker, and her other tactical action is to scrounge for relics like McCabe, but with the chance of a trigger to discard the upgrade and drop a scheme marker, which is handy in later turns. Being dual faction, McCabe has 3 henchmen to choose from. From the Explorer Society comes Jessie Halliday, not Lara Croft, Jessie Halliday. She's fairly cheap for a henchman, coming in at 7 soul stones with evasive and hard to kill, helping her to survive with her average defense and willpower. Jessie's Archaeological Dig action gives the crew more scrap generation while removing enemy markers, and has triggers to either generate soul stones or drop a scheme marker. A quick action Soulstone Flare has an impressive 10-inch range and throws out shockwave markers that can cause enemies to take damage, gain distracted, and lose the ability to interact until the end of the turn. Going over to the Thunders for the other 2 henchmen, and the biggest of these is Sadir, a 9-cost bruiser that is ruthless and has Swagger, which gives him that focus we mentioned earlier just for walking. His high defense of 6 plus the parry trigger punishes any enemy that swings and misses in melee. He has 2 quick actions, Blow It to Hell to remove destructible terrain, and Juggernaut for a bit of self-healing. The fighting is where Sadir really shines though, as he can analyse weaknesses to ignore any damage mitigation the enemy has before either opening fire with his 12-inch range machine gun or wading in with his sword. Sneaking in at 3rd is the ever-shifty Desper Leroux. This hooded schemer has Don't Mind Me, so he can interact to his heart's content. Expert Getaway means that he goes where he likes when he likes, especially when combined with his Leap Aside defensive trigger or quick action aptly named Leap, both allowing him to place himself elsewhere. Desper is also an expert thief, so Soulstone users should watch their purses when he's around. Not only does this attack steal a Soulstone from your opponent, it has a built-in trigger to drop a scrap marker. The other triggers give you the options to either reposition Desper or, my personal favourite, give the opponent stunned. Desper's manoeuvrability combined with his hidden blade make him a superb minion hunter. This attack looks deceptively weak, but in fact it ignores armour, plus the built-in crit strike can really ramp up damage. Don't forget to loot their corpse afterwards when you finish for even more Soulstones. Moving over to minions, McCabe has plenty to suit any expedition you need, with 2 from the Explorer Society and 2 from the 10 Thunders. Starting off, we have the Cryptologist, who is great at shutting down a lot of negative effects when enemies activate thanks to their Ancient Technology trait. Their quick action Antique Timepiece lets other models take quick actions on an attached relic, which at the very least is great for passing them around. And the built-in tome that comes from the rapid reaction ability means that in melee they'll be removing conditions, or from range they can throw out scrap markers or pulse out shielded, which are all excellent triggers. Rough Riders, on the other hand, add even more mobility to the crew thanks to their skill at deploying further forward thanks to Home on the Range from Bass, and their taxiing skills with Ride With Me, which could also provide some healing with the Field Kit if you really need to yank someone out of harm's way. Their Repeating Rifle is their go-to attack, a 14-inch built-in positive to hit attack action with the potential for crit strike, meaning that these models are great for harrying at range and getting where they're needed on the flanks. The Survivalist ability will also ensure that when they heal they get a little bit of extra benefit from it. Next up we have the Hucksters, who are amongst the schemiest of schemers. They have 2 amazing tactical actions, the first of which being Secret Passage, which means they can teleport 12 inches away as long as they're near blocking terrain, which is ideal for getting behind enemy lines. Once they're there, they can then use False Claim to throw out 2 scheme markers, but remember you do have to remove 1 scheme marker at the end of the turn. Nothing says it has to be one of those 2 that you drop down though, so it might be worth in early turns popping one right near your deployment so you can get rid of it later. The Huckster's Sales Pitch bonus action is also a win-win scenario, either giving you a high card or giving the opponent a high card and a Soulstone for you. Lastly come the Ruffians, and if we think the Hucksters are a watered down Jesper, then these guys are a slice of Sadir. Like Sadir, they have Swagger and Ruthless on the front of their card with a bonus action Chain Gang to yet again move your models around. The gang weapons ignore all resistance triggers, and if you can get the Mutilate trigger it can be devastating for your opponent. They can also pull out a pistol when needed, shooting their Derringer from 8 inches away, which provides a better damage track than the melee attack with triggers to blast out onto nearby enemies if you'll give yourself focused. The Wastrels are amongst some of the best schemers with plenty of marker removal too. They excel at spreading out and harassing weak models while stealing your supplies, whether it be Soulstones or your hand being depleted. They like battlefields with a lot of terrain as they ignore most of it and can move around freely wherever they like. In addition to this, the amount of repositions that the crew also possesses means that they are very difficult to pin down in a scrum or by bubble crews. Finally, thanks to the Master's Demise ability, you have someone who has a lot of staying power when on the board, meaning that you should be able to get plenty of use out of those 3 AP each turn. However, if you find yourself at the whims of these explorers, there are things you can do to mitigate the amount that they will cut your purses and steal your resources. First is the knowledge that these models will often need to pick their fights and will not be able to stand up to specialists in one-on-one shooting or melee brawls. As you might expect, with the amount of repositions they possess for friendly models, the staggered condition can rapidly slow down McCabe and friends. Building on this, focus fire on McCabe's scheme runners can often leave their strategies in tatters as they try and rebuild after you've taken away their main scheme runners. Finally, the crew are often susceptible to condition damage over time due to the fact that they are so quick. If you can get burning or poison on them and they run away in later turns, it will continue to whittle down their health pools while you get on with the main task of scoring. Finally, here's an example Wastrel crew that draws from both factions, with the Hucksters and Desper hopping around the board scheming, while McCabe and Sadir cause a distraction in the middle. The Rough Riders are ranged support but can yoink your models out of any situation that turns sour. So that brings us to the end of this Malifaux Master breakdown. We hope it's been useful and given you a snapshot of the crew and its mechanics. For more talk about Malifaux and its masters, why not check out our podcast The Harlifaux Show, where we break down each keyword and why you should play it. Alternatively, we have a wealth of beginner-friendly battle reports here on the channel that guide players through every flip and decision. Whichever you choose, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, folks. Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching our videos. It means the world to us. If you want to see some more, they should be over here. If you want to support this channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. Take care.